Hello, welcome to Onecraknews. My name is Karceno, or is it? What is my what do I do on a regular basis? What is my life? The biggest mystery of all. Looking closely at all of it. And I ask you to look closely. You don't know me. Though you've been in my household countless times, you know what I want you to see. Think you know me, you don't. It's just like that. I could be the person I need to be for what I need to get done. You don't know me. I am Karceno. Oh man. And just like that, here comes a smile, laughter, and everything else. You see, this is for an example to let you know you never truly know who people are. That's why you always have to pay attention and keep your head on a swivel because you never understand people's true motive. They are trained. People are trained to hide things from you, meaning that they train themselves to hide things from you. It's not by design. They naturally want to hide because it's their own insecurities. They don't want to become a victim of them. So people will put on a front, a facade, a different face, a different look, depending on the situation, to get themselves out of a jam or to try to impress. Listen, I have been molded by the streets. I grew up in the streets. Everything I've seen and learned has come from the ghetto. And all of these tools have kept me alive. Because if I think I hadn't grew up in the ghetto and grew up in the suburbs, I wouldn't be here right now. Would not be here. A lot of things by accident would have taken me to a whole nother realm. You got to be able to read situations before they happen. Point an example. This guy named John is the boss. Don Dada boss. Big John. Sack a dude head off if he wanted to. He was the boss. He snapped his hands, everything moved. Now, his workers, one of his workers had a bad little Chinese, Filipino looking chick. Oh my gosh, she was gorgeous, thick, beautiful. One of his workers, that's his girl. So he asked the boss, and the thing is, the guy is his boss, but he brought the boss into the game. Big John was basically a nobody until he introduced him to the game. He brought him in, and he ended up working for him because the guy that was working for him, his brother was he was John's boss. He was the connect, and he said, "I'm gonna introduce him to the connect and bringing somebody in to be somebody's boss." He's like, "I'm gonna bring him in to be my boss." I'm like, "Where did they do that at?" Because he knew he wasn't good with responsibility. Plus, his brother would never trust him to handle that kind of. So he brought in Big John. So Big John became the principal of what goes and what don't go. So once that became the case, he told him, okay, this goes, this don't go. These are the rules. And this is the rules you must follow. So brought him in. John was about structure. Man, wow. Okay. I appreciate that. That's love. I would have loved that in the Streamlab or the Cash App, but I'll take it whatever way I can get it. Man, sincerely yours came with it. Poetically correct. That book must be still selling off the shelves. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to the story. I don't want to get off track and leave people in the dust. So Big John is the boss because the guy who's working for him brought him in. But John kind of forgets that that's how he got started. You know how people forget where they come from and forget where they were before they became the big cheese? He's just like bossing everybody around and doing whatever he's gonna do. Well, you got to look at the situation for what it is. See, I'm on the outside looking in, so I can see everything the way it moves. The guy who he brought in that worked for him, let me give him a name. Let's say his name is Sean, okay? Sean. John and Sean. That's stupid. But anyway, that's let's just say that's their names. Sean brought Big John in when Big John wasn't even part of the game. Big John is really from Cali, but he's out in this area. But that's beside the point. The point being that you got to be able to see things before they even happen. I saw that this was going to be a problem down the road because I know how people's egos are. And I could tell that when Sean brought in Big John to be his boss, why would anybody do that? You have to look at the narratives of it. He brought him in because his brother is the connect. So if his brother's the connect, why wouldn't he just give it to Sean? Your brother could just give it to you, Sean. And that would end there all the troubles. Why you got to bring somebody else in? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, man. So you're saying to yourself, why would you bring somebody else in? That don't make any sense. Because he knew his brother wouldn't give it to him. His brother wouldn't give it to Sean. I wouldn't trust Sean to run anything. Sean couldn't run no organization. Sean doesn't have structure, but John does. John is all about order and structure and people following him. So he knew I'm going to bring John in. My brother trusts him and work through John. I'll be top lieutenant or whatever next to John. Now I'm in the game heavy. So what he did was went from being a peon to being a number one underboss. So even though he brought a guy in to be his boss, now he don't have to deal with the headache of making decisions. He could just be a worker and a general, a soldier, do what he's supposed to do. So you got to look at these things. That's why I say you got to look closely at situations as they present themselves. Everything is a little bit more deeper than what you can see on the surface. Now, remember that bad Filipino Chinese looking girl that Sean had? Now Sean and John are boys. Even though that John's his boss, they boys. So Sean will always be having stuff to do. And he would ask the boss, said, man, can you at least drop her off at the bus stop? Because here's the thing, Sean didn't have a car. Sean didn't drive. Sean never wanted to drive. Sean drove every car without a driver's license, but he don't want to drive. He don't drive. He gets somebody else to drive him or whatever. So he's making runs. He's just jumping in and out of cars. So he just bum rides off people basically. So he needs for Big John to do him a favor and take his girl to the bus stop. Like I said, gotta read two things quickly. John is like ticked off that he's stuck in this situation. Like, dude, how would you bring her over here and you ain't got nowhere to get her home? And he makes a very convincing scene. And then he says, Sean, go forget it, man. I'll just get somebody else, man, to take her to, the bus stop or something. It ain't that far from here. That's all I'm saying. So he was like, all right, well, where you stay at? All right, I'll drop you off at the bus stop. And she's like, you can just take me there to that bus stop and I'll be okay. I'll be out your hair. He was like, nah, it ain't that far. I'll take you. And it happened once. I said, okay, it's nothing. But when it happened twice, then I understood and knew my instincts was correct. It was confirmed. He was sleeping with Sean's girl. Sean was sleeping with Sean's girl, and I don't know when it was going to happen, but I'm like, he's going to eventually find out. And things are going to happen. Whether they're good things or bad things, something is going to happen. About as right as rain. You just knew this thing was going to blow up. And, well, they thought they were so smart and how they were hiding it from Sean. But when people are doing stuff like this, they get reckless, they get stupid and careless. And pretty soon, people are going to start to notice things. Because I noticed it from the very first time it happened. And the reason why I noticed and how I knew is because I know the person. I know John. There's no way John would ever in a million years want to take anybody anywhere in his car to do a favor like that. He would hold that over your head forever. And to do it not once but twice. When someone said, just drop me off here at the bus stop, he would have taken you right to that bus stop. When he said, I'll just take you home and tried to play it off, I knew that was part of the act and that he was trying to sell it so that he was eventually going to take her to the house or whatever and sleep with her, whatever they were going. And he knew that there was no way Sean's going to find out. Now, how did they get caught? Well, when you're doing something like this, it's always one person that screws it up. The person that's enjoying it a little too much. The woman. And like the situation was, she was enjoying the fact she was playing her boyfriend and was with the boss. And like, oh, I'm with the boss and he's got a nice car and he keeps it clean. And, Sean doesn't even have a car. And I'm about to break up with him. But the boss already got a girl. So she can't be his girl, but she thinks she's going to take him away. So she's running her mouth to her friends, not knowing that's all going to leak out because all her friends are a bunch of slutbags just like her. So what they do is they over there and they leak the information back to Sean. And she was like, yeah, they finna meet up here at this spot. So Sean sets it up and was like, yo, man, hey, why don't you come over here, man? You know that thing you want to get that food? Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna come over here. I cook that spaghetti, that the one that you like to eat. Why don't you come over? And he was like, man, I can't. I would, man, but I can't even do it tonight, man. I don't feel good. I'm just gonna be in the crib all night. Now, when he told him that, he knew because Sean knows John like I do. John loves spaghetti. There's no meal he would come miles away to watch spaghetti. I mean, eat some spaghetti, and especially the way Sean cooks it. He loved that. He's like, I don't like when people mix the sauce on the spaghetti and mix it up in the pot. That ain't how spaghetti's supposed to go. You put the noodles down and you take the tomato sauce and you pour it over the top. That's how you do spaghetti. So he likes the traditional ways like that. Like the Italians telling you how to hold a fork and all these things. This was part of his design, his motivations, desires, order, structure. That was where his keys. So anyway, it was time for them to do their little hustle move, get some money up. So next thing you know, Sean was like, "Oh, found out that Sean has another brother. His brother runs with his other brother runs around with John too, and he found out also that his other brother was sleeping with his girl. But that's how he got the girl. He took the girl from his other brother, and she had went back and messed around with the other brother too again that he took her from. So she was messing with both brothers and the boss. So they did a job, I think a B&E job. Sean leaked it out to the cops on his own brother and the boss. So when the job was going down, they were being watched, and the cops came in and took them down, and he wasn't nowhere to be found when it all went down. And nobody knew. Sean, they was like, Sean, where you at, man? We caught up in all this stuff. Sean was nowhere to be found. He had no cases on him, no nothing. Sean was in the clear. Even when they raided the spot and everything else, Sean was in the clear. So they're in the papers and everything for breaking and entering and got busted. Now, Sean and his girl is together and she's back with Sean. The boss is locked up. His little brother got locked up all because of jealousy. They weren't able to read the signs. When people are doing stuff that they don't normally do or something sneaky or behind somebody's back, they get comfortable sometimes and it gets stupid. And that's what happened there. They got really stupid. And because they got really stupid, people got really messed up in the game. Well, everybody's out of jail now. But now these guys are lost. Here it is. They neither one of them are with the girl now. The girl is off married, got kids with some other sucker, and neither one of these guys got this girl. And they all are like in their 50s now. Yeah, this is a hood story, baby. And all of these guys are in their 50s now. 50s. They're in their 50s now, and they are still trying to live like they're 25. They dressing like the teenagers. They wearing lime green gym shoes with holes in their pants, with gray beards. Looking ridiculous out here with a rhinestone t-shirt on, and it's like, dude, stay in your era, man. This is not you. Still trying to sit there and come up off some girls in the mall. It's like, this is bad. Bad for business. To see something like that is pathetic. But it just lets you got to know how to read things in motion. So you got to look closely at situations and evaluate them before you make moves because these things could determine a lot of factors. I saw all of that The very first day. That's one of my best abilities about me is able to read situations and read what the disasters were going to be. That's why people would always gravitate towards me, and because I always navigated myself away from nonsense. I never try to be the tough guy, the hero, and all that craziness. I'm like, look, I'm gonna hit the read the step button type guy. If this guy want to look like Superman today and look like he punked somebody, cool. Let him have that moment. There's way more days and years in life that I could be having to pay attention to stuff that really matters and like making money than to be sitting here arguing with somebody who I'm not getting no money with at all. We just sitting here going back and forth for what? Looking stupid. That's not helping anybody. So someone pull my card. I don't have a card to be pulled. But someone tried to confront me before. Yeah, I mean, I've had that plenty of times. But it's not very often. But when I was younger, yeah, people try to front and be tough. I let them have a moment. I don't try to out tough them, but I wasn't gonna let anybody beat me up. That wasn't gonna happen. I would rather leave than fight. Like my friend wanted to fight me one time, and he was wrong, but he didn't see it. He was just so mad. He just wanted to fight, and I took off running. I was like, no, I ain't gonna fight him because we fight. He think it's just gonna be a regular fight. I'm not gonna take any L's. It's not gonna happen. No. So they can give up the pipe dream because I wasn't taking no L's for nobody. I don't care who it was. No L's is gonna come my way. Oh yeah, that hood story when the kid was getting money from my girl, my sixth grade girlfriend, putting all this pressure on me. Yeah, too boastful. First things first, you gotta understand the police are not stupid. You're stupid. Okay? They go to college, they go to classes, they go degrees. They they have nothing but time on their hands. They only have to catch you once. You could slip them one day, slip them for 8, 9 different years or whatever. They only got to catch you once. So listen, they're not stupid. And the people that be, y'all can't be touched. You know them people on the other side of the grass right now. Those guys are locked up right now. All those I couldn't be touched. I'm invincible. All of those guys are gone or locked up. They don't. Once you realize that you got to be smart to survive in that game, most people can't. It takes a discipline to be in a game like that and be successful. A discipline, a order that has to go out through all generals, all the people in command. Because now, if you don't have that loyalty, that strength, that bond, it's not going to make it. Somebody's going to snitch. Someone's going to get caught. Somebody's not going to like something that another person is doing better than them. It takes a lot to keep everything in line. That's why you see some of the biggest organizations break up. You think they just can't get a mob boss? They get them the right way. What happened to the five at the table, the mob families, and We only follow the codes and we only deal with non-blacks. No blacks can be told certain things. And how did they get? Where? How did that work out for them? Nicky Barnes. I remember Nicky Barnes, the man, before he went snitch, was sitting with Frank Lucas before Frank was snitch. Then the Italians came by and wanted to work with them. This is the story they don't tell you about. Now, this is when Frank Lucas got the deal and got out. See, the movie kind of messes you up a little bit. They don't really tell you the full story. Frank went back and got arrested twice. He went back working for his old partners and got back in the game and got put back. Everyone has an agenda or a plan until something goes wrong, right? Now, before they was snitching and doing all these things, the Italian mob was asking him, Frank Lucas, like they couldn't trust him. They couldn't bring him in to do business. No matter what all the stuff he did and with the feds and all that, they couldn't trust him. They said, well, we can't trust blacks because, we're going to keep it Italian because we know Italians and only Italians could trust Italians and this and that. And they was like, Nicky Barnes and Frank told them, look, man, uh, all those guys over there that got you guys in court and all those cases, files, and everything else, when you go in there and the guys that's testifying, working for the prosecution and who's identifying you in court, how many of those dudes were black? How many of them dudes were 100% Italian, just like you? So you might need to think your strategy and your thinking. That was funny. It's like you got all you guys going to jail and getting knocked. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I'm feeling better. I'm gonna feel a lot better when I get some sleep. The hustler's code is get the money. Don't ever forget the money. Get the money. Anything else is uncivilized. Once you grow a conscience, you dead. So that's when you gotta observe things right before it happens. People get hurt walking the dog. So for them, it's like, look, I don't have anything, or I could have a lot. Might as well go get it now. So that's what they choose to do. So I don't knock people's hustle for that. That's what people choose they want to do, and it's the best thing for their life. They're gonna move towards it. Well, when people don't see the writing on the wall, that's when they get rolled over. Just like the boss didn't see, and Steve didn't see what was going on. So Big John ended up getting locked up and didn't understand why. And still was cool with Big John. I mean, they later found out about the girl thing. But I don't think they ever knew that Sean set that up. He tipped off the cops. Peer pressure used to get some of my friends. It never got me though. Oh, they got ways. They got ways to really put you under the peer pressure. They real sneaky when they want you to do something and they know you don't, but they want you to do it. Real sneaky. Adult peer pressure, ooh, is a lot more sneaky and devious. You'll think you like, man, I was through with this in high school. Now it's here when we're adults and we're still doing peer pressure? That don't seem right. Oh, but it's done. It is done. Adult peer pressure is where you're singled out in a room mostly, where everyone else is doing something. They're looking at you like you're an alien because you haven't joined in. Broke homeless are going to jail. Probably. See, all these guys get too comfortable and they forget one of the reasons that you survive in the game. Pillow talking. Pillow talking will get a pillow over your face and somebody else saying hello to you for the very last time. Newer case. Guy always pillow talk with this girl. And he said something he shouldn't have said about one of his friends who he knew was crazy. And he said, oh man, this guy is so crazy and this and that. I remember one time though, he did such and such and such and such. So his girl is laughing in the bed and they're laughing about this pillow talking about this sensitive subject that happened to a guy that you know is crazy. That guy comes back and finds out because that girl who was laughing thought that everybody else was gonna laugh. She took it outside of the pillow. And it came back to bite that dude real heavy because he was beat to a bloody pulp. All for opening his mouth. His girl opening her mouth. And it's basically his fault for the pillow talk. Shouldn't have done it. I love olives. Mmm.